Hey Amish, hey Mike, how's it going?
Hey Dan, good thanks, yeah. How are you?
Couldn't be better.
So if I'm a person thinking, I've got a bit of budget, like maybe if I'm in an agency or a supplier or a consultant, versus if I'm in a pharma company, I've got to choose a conference to go to. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of this one. Location, what do you think of it?
The location is pretty incredible, I would say. Dubrovnik is a beautiful old walled city, and a few miles just along the coast a little bit is this location where the conference is. It's got incredible views across the Adriatic Sea. It's just very easy, isn't it?
I agree. There couldn't be a better location. The one thing I would say is that I've stayed, having come before, I've stayed in a different hotel and it was better. I think the room isn't that good. My air conditioning isn't great.
Yeah, tell you actually on that point, similar in terms of the room. I spoke to Mike about this earlier. Pillows. I need to start bringing my own pillows. Yeah.
And it's noisy, and you had that problem last time.
Yeah, although I'm in a quiet area this time, luckily.
Okay.
West, a quieter area, because in the evening there's a stand over there at the moment. They do have music and a bit of entertainment in this area here.
All right, cool. So out of 10, real quick, for location, I'm actually going to go 9 out of 10. They're losing a mark because the room isn't as good as it should be for me. 9 out of 10 location.
Well, if you're a 9, I'm a 10.
10.
I'm going to go 8.
Okay, so good reviews there. Building connections, having meetings, getting some value add from the content and connections. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think if I'm putting my pharma hat on, I think there's good value. There's a range of topics, but they're all relevant to actual problems that I would, as a pharma marketer, have and would have. The range of speakers from different companies is really important. Yes, they're talking about different things that they're doing, but really it's just a taster of what they're doing on stage, and it just puts faces that you can then go and follow up with afterwards to figure out actually what's the real detail behind what you're doing and how have you really implemented that, which you can then go away and take away into your own company potentially. So as a pharma marketer, content is super relevant. You may not get everything just from listening to people on stage though, so you 100% do need to follow up with people afterwards if there's a topic of interest of yours.
Yeah, good advice. Mike?
There's one main room with one main stage, and then there's a smaller breakout room which is more workshopy, a bit more practical. So you don't find that you're clashing at all, really, and they do record it all, so if you do miss something and you have got a clash between the two stages, it's very easy to catch up on those, and you've got a recording of it as well, which is really good. The other thing I really like is it's more practical, and I know that Dario, he's asked each of the speakers to make sure that it is applicable and that it can be implemented. I've heard that today, more practical examples of actually what folk are doing, which is really, really useful to see. I think on the social front, Dario does a great job of creating enough space, literally space, but also time as well. So, for example, the breaks are 30 minutes, not 15, because quite frankly, a 15-minute break, once you've got a drink and maybe use the bathroom, it's gone. You've got time, you can relax a bit more, you can think about the sessions you've just had, and you can interact with others. It's got a nice casual atmosphere, and I just think that just opens it up a bit more.
Things are getting more practical, to be fair. I still think there's a little bit of work to be done. You get probably more out of the conversations afterwards, but I would say that's also a positive. Having gone to events before where it sometimes feels quite cliquey, difficult to speak to people, I feel like I've genuinely made good connections that have lasted. Amish, I met you the first time. We've created content together, we've done work together, it's been amazing. From an agency perspective, I've built partnerships, I've done work actually as a result of it. None of that has come through formal sort of, the meeting app or the event, the exhibition or whatever. It's come from having discussions. And I think for some reason, maybe it's the location, but also the vibe. They're relaxed, they're chilled. There's kind of a bit of freedom on stage. It's not afraid to have speakers who will be a bit rebellious. I think it makes you want to come back. And I think the more times you come back, the more you become known and the warmer it becomes, the more friends you make, the more you can recognize, the more influence you have, and just gets better and better.
Yeah, and one of the things I'd add as well is for speakers as well, I think obviously we spoke last year, and I think you're speaking tomorrow as well, aren't you? Speakers love being approached, I found, in terms of actually that follow-up, so I wouldn't even be afraid to do that for someone, for example. You may just maybe see them on stage, and again with that friendly atmosphere, approach the speakers, they love it, you'll get something out of it, so there's no egos here. So
business and personal value impact out of 10. Amish, you go first.
Say 9. Okay,
I'm going to go for 8.
I'm going to give I'm going to give 9 because I also ended up doing like genuinely tangible work off the back of it, and I can't knock that. Final thing, just to give people a flavour of what's going on, there's kind of like different formats, which what I like is there's been less panel discussions, there's been more keynote lectures. I really like keynote lectures because they're thought through, they're purposeful. The panels became like more of an interaction. I think in the CX one there was like a fishbowl approach where there was a spare seat and an audience member come in and really mixes it up, and I really like that. I like the keynotes, and the Oxford debates, which there will be some, are always a bit of fun and they get people going. There's a fair bit of energy there, and then you have the side stages with the workshops with smaller things. That's actually much better attended this time. What's been like one thing that you've seen that you probably take away from it that you would, just to give people a flavour of the type of content and learning that they will get from the event?
Cross-functional working, but like to the point where yes, you can sort out your internal teams, medical, marketing, market access. Let's not forget market access. All of that means nothing to customers and consumers, because all they care about is actually, are you solving a need of theirs? Are you solving a pain of theirs? Yeah, having that shared ambition, but being aware that all of that should lead to solving customer problems.
For me, it's customer centricity. I've heard that more than ever this year, actually, which is music to my ears. I think the challenge for the industry is to truly move towards that, and I think that requires a deliberate effort from everybody in the organisation, so not just the people that are closest to the customer and the cross-functional approach, but I think it needs leaders to really embrace that as well, and we've heard plenty of those sort of suggestions. I think everybody gets the theory, but in practice it seems to be difficult, so I think that's a big nut to crack for the industry. I think once it does, I think it'll open up a load more doors, and I think finally the industry will be able to pitch against the bigger consumer brands and what people are used to in their home lives. The other thing I'd mention about this one is probably the conference where there's been the most cross-functional representation. I think there could maybe be a bit more access. I don't see so much of that. That might be an evolution for this in the future, but certainly there's more of a mix of commercial folk and medical as well, so that I like that, and I don't think you see that at the other conferences as much, or they don't do it as well.
There's been a lot of talk of transparency, authenticity, and pharma being like realistic and building like trusted bonds with clinicians, and like practical examples of how they can do that. They had a few clinicians on stage talking about how they've done influencer marketing and how they should overcome that, like real voices there, which I would like to see more of. So overall, I would say a resounding yes. You would go if you were someone.
It's great value. Yeah. Get good value for money at this conference.
Good value as well. Yeah,
good value for money, and I'd say as well, just add in the point that there is something for everybody, no matter what type of person you are as well. Like, I am traditionally not someone who likes these things and not a big networker, but I get the value from it, from in my own way as well. So I wouldn't be put off by anything like that in terms of big groups and stuff like that. So yeah, something for everyone.
If you are an agency or a software provider, people are constantly complaining about the exhibition booths, like very difficult to sell. Although then again, like, do we really want to create a situation for the people who are here to learn, like we've been talking about, to be sold to? I don't know, but maybe there needs to be a solution for those people who are, effectively running the conference, they're sponsoring it. Like,
it's true. I didn't even go. I have not been to a single exhibition booth.
Like, I think if I was to sponsor the meeting, maybe I would want to see like a little bit more opportunity. I think more speaking opportunities. I think that's where the value add is, and like focus on that, and you can probably ditch the exhibition booths, to be honest with you, and all that cardboard and the giveaways in the bag. Anyway, but yeah, resounding yes, like you should attend. If you want proper insights, you want to learn what we got from the meeting, I'll tag Amish and Mike in the description, or you can get in touch if you want to download on that, or a private conversation. I'm sure we'd all be happy to share, right?
Of course. Yeah. Love to.
All right, yeah. Nice one. Peace out. Enjoy. Bye.